In this video, we're going to talk about expanding, or in algebra, what we call the distributive law. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how that works in algebra, and then I'm going to show you a real-life example using geometry of how that applies to it as well. So, when we're expanding, what we're trying to do is we're trying to remove the brackets from the expression or the equation that we're trying to look at. And how we do that is this 5 is actually going to be multiplied by both terms inside of the brackets. So we're going to end up multiplying 5 times a, and we're going to have to multiply 5 times 3. So when we go to solve this, it should be 5 times a, which is 5a, and 5 times 3, or positive 3, is plus 15. Okay? And we'll look at a few more examples with expanding in our next video, where there can be some confusion dealing with directed numbers and positive and negative numbers. We'll look at that in the next video. But as far as the geometry scenario is concerned, notice I've got one big rectangle here, and if I wanted to find the area of this rectangle, I know that the whole area would be equal to the length of this rectangle times the width of the rectangle. So we know that the area is equal to length times width. Now let's say I know some of the parts of the rectangle. Let's say that I know that this width here is 5, and I know that this part of this length here is 3. But let's say I don't know this part, and this part is some unknown, and we're going to call that a for the purposes of this scenario. Now I know that if I split up this rectangle into two separate rectangles, this one and this one, that the total area of this large rectangle should be the area of this rectangle plus the area of this rectangle. Well, if the whole width of this thing is this length of this line, that would be a plus 3. So, if I want to know the area of the large triangle, or rectangle, pardon me, I'd have to go 5 times a plus 3. Well, as I said, if I break it down into smaller rectangles, I would have to go 5 times a, and that would be the area of this one. And I'd have to go 5 times 3 for the area of this rectangle. Well, notice that's exactly what's happening over here, but just in an algebra sense. So I would have 5 times a, which would be the area of this one, 5a. And this one here, 5 times 3, which would be, I'm going to write plus 15, just to show you that the area of this one, the total rectangle, would end up being 5a plus 15. Exactly the same as it is in an algebraic sense over here. So in our next video, we're going to look at some more expanding, but more difficult types of questions.